It's Michaela from Kitchen Enrichments, and today I'm just going to be doing some meal prep. I'm just going to be working in the background, talking to you, so I hope you enjoy it and you can learn from my workflow. So first I'm going to start off, I'm going to pressure cook a whole chicken, and got my knife. So, I'm going to open this. I'm actually going to do it over the sink. Okay. So I'm just going to plop that right into my Instant Pot. Toss that. Alright, so I got my whole chicken in there. Got my bay leaves, and I had 4 from my neighbor's garden. Got some ginger. Just gonna cut up some knobs. Okay. And some fresh lemongrass. So I'm just making like an all-purpose shredded chicken with some aromatics. Okay, got some garlic. Open those up. I'm just going to toss in the cloves whole. Okay. Bit of that. Okay. I'm going to season this bird nice and heavy. Do some coriander. A little bit of turmeric. A little bit of cayenne. Alright. Just gonna do a little bit of aromatics here. And then I'm gonna fill this with some water. So I just have it like barely, almost covering the chicken, but not so much. So you can still see like the legs and stuff peeking out. Give my hands a wash. Okay, and I'm just gonna take this over to the Instant Pot. Do the poultry setting, 25 minutes, high pressure, and non-venting. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that go. Had chicken, so I'm gonna wipe this board down. it's smooth. So here I've got some sweet potatoes. I'm going to take the sticker off. And I'm just going to cut 2 of these in half. Down the middle. And I'm going to roast those in halves. These ones I'm going to peel. And I'm going to dice them. I'm going to roast. I'm doing some sweet potato salmon patties. And I'm also going to do some roasted mixed vegetables. I'm roasting quite a bit of potatoes this afternoon. So today's menu is for, it's a donation that my sister and I are doing for a friend in our community who hurt his leg. So once in a while we'll do stuff like that, be charitable, help out a community member. I guess to me, like if I ever needed help or support, I would hope somebody would be there willing to help me out. So that's why I kind of like to take on stuff like this. I feel like what comes around goes around, and it's always good to support members of your community. Yeah, so this is just like random shapes, kind of fun. Wish I would have put some music on. It's a little quiet in here. Well, all right, I'm gonna get some coconut oil. So got a big jug of coconut oil today. Just have a hard time with these. Just poke a little hole. Okay. All right. So for these halves, I'm just going to go ahead and rub coconut oil all over the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to put them on a sheet tray. This is going to make it so I'm going to roast it in the oven, flesh side down. And then once it's soft, I can just scoop out the sweet potato and mash it into my salmon patties. So I got that all ready to go in the oven. Mix that. So I'm just going to pop these in the oven. Set like a 20-minute timer. In here, just gonna toss these. All right. So I'm done with the coconut oil for now. I'm just gonna set this aside. And here I have my avocado oil. I'll put some in, some salt, coriander, cumin, my 2 favorite spices, and a little cayenne for fun. A little zip. Okay. That on the sheet tray. And I'm also going to pop this in the oven. So next we're going to do some roasted carrots. Just going to get all my roasting out of the way. Okay. So I got my rainbow carrots here. I don't know if you can see. Let's see what I can do. There. Maybe you'll be able to see a little better. Now I have a lot of stuff out. Okay, so I'm just gonna peel these carrots. Nice, beautiful assortment of colors. I'll take the peels, set it aside. This is my compost stock bin. Okay. So I'm going to just do a nice roll cut. Just come across, cut, turn, cut, turn. I know you can't see me doing this very well. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that. Remove some of this. Okay. Yeah? Can you see a little bit better? Okay. So we're just cut, turn, cut, turn. I love doing a roll cut versus a dice. Just is like more of a fun shape, gives it some texture, height when you're plating, and then also it doesn't have to be perfect. And I think that that is like something that's important to highlight here is like when your dices are all missized, they're not all equal, it's really obvious. But in like a roll cut where you can tell it's not supposed to be the same size, there's a lot more forgiveness there. Right. First carrot. So I'm gonna just do that in the same bowl as my sweet potatoes were in. Same spices, little cayenne, little cumin, little coriander, some salt, and some avocado oil. Okay, came to the end of that one. Start a new bottle. Okay. I am using the Chosen Foods brand. It's 100% avocado oil. Let's see, what do I want to roast these with? I think I'm going to do potatoes. So I'm going to use a half sheet tray here. I'm also going to roast some fingerling potatoes. Just going to do a handful of those. I am gonna cut them in half though, except for the little babies. It's really nice to have stuff like this on hand, especially since it does take a while in the oven. Makes cooking on the weeknight much faster. Alright, got some herbs here, some rosemary. Just gonna break into a sprig. It's a little stemmy, I gotta cut through there. So I'm just gonna place that on the sheet tray. I also have some thyme. This came from my neighbor's garden. So lucky. Access to these beautiful herbs. Okay. So I'm roasting these with thyme and rosemary. Cumin, coriander. This is all low FODMAP, delicious, gut friendly. Going in the oven. I am using a convection bake right now. It's at 375. I started off my sweet potato halves at 20 minutes. And I'm starting off those carrots and potatoes at 11 minutes. Next I got some broccoli. I'm gonna come right up next to the crown, cut, set aside, and I'm just gonna make little floret trees. I'm gonna roast these as well. Just doing like a mixed veggies. Toss that in the bowl. Then I got this beautiful purple cauliflower here. Come across and cut the crown. Set that aside. Now I'm just gonna put these into little trees as well. You could also blanch this cauliflower. I think that roasting is the flavor that I'm gonna go for. I'm not gonna use the whole head, I'm just gonna set it aside. And you can save these, you can cut them up, saute, they're really good in like a fried rice. Okay, just put this all in the bowl. Avocado oil, some salt, some cumin, coriander, and a little bit of cayenne. Okay. I'm gonna do a little pepper too. Just give that a toss. So you're gonna go in the oven, 375. And I'm just hoping to get like a little color on these. All right. So that's it for the veggies. Well, actually, I'm gonna roast these potatoes too. We don't have another sheet tray, so I'll have to wait until something comes out of the oven. Okay. Done with these. All right. So they're growing little eyes. That's what happens when you buy organic. They don't last as long, but if you just peel these off, it's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna roast these. I'm having some lamb chops tonight, so I'm just gonna do like little potato wedges. And I like to roast all my veggies at the same time, get it in and out. That way you can turn the oven off, keep your house cool. It's a nice warm day here. It's like 75, so I don't want that oven on very long. Okay, these are red potatoes, one of my favorites. Right up there with the Yukon Gold. Just made little wedges here. Put it in the bowl. I'm gonna do the same spices, coriander and cumin, a little cayenne, some salt, a little avocado oil. Toss. I'm just going to set those aside to wait until something comes out of the oven. All right, tidy up this space just a little bit. All right, next I got some dried pinto beans. I'm going to soak those. Let's see. Deli container. Let's soak about a cup. These do expand, so about a cup here. I'm just going to set those aside, soak them overnight, and then I'm going to cook them in the pressure cooker tomorrow. Alright, got those beans done. Those are going to go with the chicken that I got in the Instant Pot right now, pressure cooking. Alright, so now we're going to start some carrot ginger soup. I got some carrots here. This is a, let's see, 2-pound bag. I think we're probably going to use the whole thing. I love this soup. It's one of my favorite soups. I eat it year round, and it's so easy. All right, I got my pot. Just have this cute vintage pot. I don't have any other pots at the moment. When I moved, I got rid of everything pretty much. Anything that I didn't want was used, worn in, had for years. So I purged it, and now I just have my cute vintage pots. And I love them. they're getting way more use than they ever did before when I had an abundance of other things. So just peel all these carrots, saving the peel. I'm going to add these to a stock bag. I keep that in the freezer, and so when I'm ready to make stock later, I can just pull it out, dump in my bones, my meat scraps, and I have this yummy, delicious stock utilizing everything that I use. They don't have to be perfect. You can leave some peel on there. There's a bunch of nutrients in the peel. But you do need to make sure your carrots are clean. Alright, so my bin's a little full, so I'm going to grab my stock bag. Just using a produce bag right now. Just started this yesterday. Make a lot of broths here, but I also come up with a lot of scraps, so makes sense. Okay, just gonna set that back over there. And now I just take off the little ends, and then I just come through and I just cut it up about like 1-inch pieces. I'm just going to do that to all of this, so it's going to be pretty quick. Okay. Scooping in the pot as I go. Keep my workspace clean. Okay, got 2 carrots here at a time. So this is going to be a low FODMAP soup. No onions or garlic in here. So I got my 2 pounds carrots, and then I'm going to just cover them with water. Okay, so they're completely covered in water and probably about like a hand's width extra. If I had to guess, it's probably like 2 quarts of water. Set aside that. I'm going to sprinkle in some salt here, so a good big pinch. This is pink Himalayan salt. Just going to rinse off that salt. And I'm going to turn this pot on. Okay, cover it with the lid. I got some lemongrass here. This is also for the soup. It's going to come through and I'm going to split it. Okay. Just going to plop this right in. Aromatics. And then I got some ginger around. So you want to be careful not to add too much ginger, otherwise it's going to give off that nice soapy flavor and it's not very nice. I have done that before. It was a nightmare. I was cooking for a family, a little dinner party, and I was in such a rush and I was just moving a million miles an hour. Pause that story and get the oven. just added like a 5-minute timer, almost done. Where we just added the ginger. Telling you a nice story about this client I had, and I added too much soap or too much ginger, a little too much salt, and I blended it up, and it was terrible. It was the worst soup I'd ever made. It was so salty and so gingery. I was so embarrassed, and I had to figure out how to save it, like on the fly with hardly any ingredients. Started over, and I made it work. So I'm gonna add this thyme to the pot, just nice aromatic, toss it in, and I'm gonna let this carrot ginger soup come up to a simmer until the carrots are soft, and then we're going to throw it in a Vitamix blender, whatever blender you have, and puree it up. Super simple soup, hardly any ingredients needed. You could add onion and garlic, whatever you want. This is just a quick and simple version. Okay. Next, we're going to make turkey zucchini burgers. I got my zucchini here. I'm going to give it a wash. And got my mixing bowl, get my ground turkey. So we're just gonna put the turkey in the bowl. Use 2 pounds of organic ground turkey. And let's see, we're gonna grate this zucchini first. We'll just set this aside. I got my box grater here. Trim off this little nubbin. Okay, and then I'm just gonna grate. So I think the zucchini is like hands down the most important part of the turkey burger because it keeps it nice and moist, adds some flavor, adds some green, but mostly it's all about keeping that turkey burger moist. Every time I've like ordered a turkey burger out, it's been so dry. I've never liked it, but I don't like beef very much. It doesn't agree with me. And so I always wish there was like a better alternative. So I just started making my own. And I hope that you like this recipe. I'm gonna post it online later in the blog, so stay tuned. All right, that's about 2 cups. That was pretty big zucchini. And I don't think I'm not gonna need this one, so I'm just gonna set it aside and set this over here. Gonna add coriander, roughly like a tablespoon. But I don't really like to measure in my savory cooking, so it's all like a guesstimate. About the same with cumin. Got turmeric powder here, about a teaspoon. Gonna need to get some more of that. Cayenne, my fave, adds a little zippity zip, like 1/8 of a teaspoon there. Now I got my herbs. So I'm gonna be putting parsley, cilantro, and green onion in here. So I'm going to use about like a half a bunch of cilantro. And then I'm going to just set the rest aside for another use. Got 8 seconds on the timer, so I'm just going to go grab that. done. Just gonna let that cool right here on the stove top. I'm gonna just tidy up a little bit so you can see the workflow. All right, check on the sweet potatoes real quick again. Let's see. Super close. Okay. Just started another 6-minute timer. All right, so I got my scallions here. I only like to use the green part. The green part is low FODMAP, so you don't have to worry, but then once you get down into the white part, that's where you start getting to like a gut irritant. So I'm just gonna come through and make thin slices. Okay. Just gonna add that to this turkey burger mix. Save these for later. And cilantro. So I washed this, still feels pretty clean. Sometimes herbs can be really dirty, they need a few washes. Doing a rough chop. I think herbs are really underutilized in most kitchens. They add so much flavor, they're full of health benefits, they make food beautiful, and they add moisture. So don't be afraid to pick them up. Like, I think that fresh herbs have way more flavor than dried herbs, and they add a totally different dynamic. Bench scraper here. Scrape this all into a bowl. Okay, hands are rinsed. All right. So we got some parsley, add just a little bit of parsley as well. It was like about like a 1/4 cup of cilantro. I'm gonna do about the same with the parsley. Give this another rinse. So I'm going to use the stems. A lot of people don't use the parsley stems because they're pretty fibrous, but in things like my burgers, I use them because they have added flavor and they're delicious. But if you just want to use the leaves, that's fine. You can pick off the parsley leaves, but do save your stems. Throw them in that stock bag in your freezer. They have great flavor. Parsley is a good digestive. It really helps stimulate that digestive system. It's low FODMAP on that train today. If you have IBS or like gut health issues, definitely maybe look into what is a low FODMAP because there's categories, and maybe that's going to help you figure out what you are sensitive to. All right. So that's more like a half cup of parsley. That's fine. Again, I don't love measuring. All right. Rinse this off. Okay. Now we're going to add some salt. Hands are a little wet. I got a tablespoon here. We'll start with about a tablespoon and a teaspoon. And I believe, yep, I already added my spices. Now I'm just going to massage all this in. You can see that my carrot ginger soup has come up to a simmer. Got steam coming out of the side of the pot. So when I'm meal prepping, I'm always trying to like work something in the oven, got something on the stove top, and then something that takes my attention, like these turkey burgers. A couple mindless things, something that requires your full attention. All right, hands are nice and sticky. Got all this meat on it. I'm just trying to scrape as much as possible back in the bowl. Then I'm going to go wash my hands. Okay, check on this soup. Yes, my oven does sing to me with the timer. It's very cute. Turn the soup down. All right. Let's see. Have the sweet potatoes. Those are ready. Turn this oven up to about 425. So I just turned the oven up because some of my veggies weren't getting enough color. And they're more kind of like steaming, so I want to get some color in there and then get them out so they don't overcook. All right, checking on this soup. Still's got a while to go. It's looking and smelling delicious though. Okay. So I have this sheet tray stand so I can cool off the stuff from the oven without taking up all of my oven space. Just gonna set that over there. Cool it down. Give you a nice little turn. There we go. All right, soup's going. Now I'm going to do a little tester patty of the turkey burgers. Get my cast iron nice and hot. So I always like to do a little tester patty of my meats so that I don't form all these burgers and then come to find out they're like under seasoned or they're too salty or something. So that's why you gotta make a tester. Just tidy up while that heats up. I think we're done with most of these spices. Soup's really going, so turn it down. All right. Always try and like clean as I go, so at the end I don't have this giant mess. It always happens. I'm cooking and then I have it's like a tornado went through. Always trying to prevent that. Gonna put those in the fridge so they stay nice and fresh, along with these zucchini. Okay. Yeah, this soup is a-going. Spoon go. Okay, so we're just gonna put a knife through one of these carrots. And it's still stuck, so it's got probably about like 5 or 6 more minutes to go. Okay, coming over here, this cast iron's heating up. Make some more space. Limes for the soup later, and then the compost. All right. That up. So I'm gonna get my hands wet for forming these patties. That's gonna help it not stick up to my hands. And a spoon. So I'm just going to do like a little one. This is not going to be my burger size. This is just a tester. So nice and thin, right in the cast iron. Got a little bit of a spring kombucha here. It's one of my favorites from GTS. It's their spring seasonal. It's got jasmine and violet in there. So good. I love the floral drink. Alright. My spatula. Yeah. Alright, so the patty is about cooked about like halfway up, and so now I'm going to flip it. Okay, let that go for a couple minutes, and it looks like my veggies might be ready. Oh yeah. You can smell these sweet potatoes. See this color? I don't know if you can see, but they are pillowy on the inside and nice and browned on the outside. Little texture. How are these? Got carrots and fingerling potatoes here. They're still pretty hard, so I'm gonna let them keep going. My oven is at 425 right now for these veggies. All right, almost done. All right. I think while we wait, I'm gonna get my blender out so we're ready for that soup. I'm gonna use my Vitamix here. Okay. Tidy up the space again. There we go. Come on out. Got a plug-in under the counter. Super nice. I am loving this new kitchen. All right. Almost forgot about this. Come across. Okay. Yum. These are really good. I don't think I have to do anything to them. Nice and salty. Maybe even a little bit too salty, but I think it's gonna be really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this aside for a little bit because I need those sheet trays so I can form patties. They need to cool off. They have hot vegetables on them right now. So the soup, let's check on it. Whew. Yes. Okay. Yeah, these are nice and soft, so we'll just put the knife through. Yeah, it's like you would for mashed potatoes. That's how soft you want them, but you don't want to turn them into like mush and waterlog them. So I'm just gonna remove this thyme. Okay. And then the rest we can just blend. I don't have any ladles here, so I'm just using a measuring cup. Super simple soup, carrots, ginger, lemongrass, water, salt, and then that thyme is just optional. I had it on hand, so I used it. And here's the other hot pad. These handles are hot. Just dump it right in. Vitamix is amazing because you can pour in this hot soup. It's totally fine, totally safe. I forgot to get my lid out. So I got my lid, put it on. This is a tamper. And then I'm just gonna start it off slow. But first the oven. Ooh, yeah. These are looking gorgeous, nice and colorful. These carrots are still a little underdone, and the potatoes, so maybe just a few more minutes. Try not to forget those in there while I blend this. So we're just gonna blend on low. try. It's very hot and steamy. Nice consistency. I can still taste that lemongrass texture, so I need to blend it a little bit more. And it's quite gingery, you can really taste that. I think I'm gonna add some coconut milk to this. Sometimes it doesn't need it, but other times I want it like a little bit creamier. And since it's a little bit on the gingery side, I'm just gonna mellow it down with some coconut milk. Just regular canned coconut milk. I use a lot, so I got it in this quart container. And roughly like a half cup. Oh yeah, very thick. There we go. Add a half cup of coconut milk. You can add this from the beginning too, and with the water. I do a few different variations, but sometimes I just like to add it at the end so I can kind of decide what I want to do. All right, loud noise again. We got that, so you don't have to turn that on again. Alright, I am making this for somebody else, so I have to get another clean spoon. I'm just gonna dollop it on this one. Let's try it again. I wasn't sure if I had that lemongrass in there still. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm gonna add some lime. So I just pop over to this cutting board, cut a lime in half. Cut 2 limes in half. My lemon squeezer. It's gonna help brighten this up. I did lie, we are gonna turn this on again. Okay. Hopefully that doesn't fall. And this does need some more salt. I'm just gonna add a little bit more, like a half teaspoon. Gonna give it a blend. Let's see how let's see what it is now. Clean spoon. onto my tasting spoon. The lime really does brighten that up. Yeah. Not sure what it needs. I feel like it still needs a little bit something, and it might be some salt. I also feel like I want to add some coriander. These carrots were okay. Didn't have a ton of flavor. I really like to use like fresh carrots that I get at the farmer's market. So the longer they've been out of the ground, the more they lose their flavor. Making the soup like not quite as pungy and flavorful as I'd like it. A little bit more coconut milk too. Do have an exact recipe. I will share that online, and this is just me going with the flow, working with what I got. Okay. Okay. I could definitely eat a bowl of that. Okay. Before we forget, let's get those vegetables out of the oven. Oh yeah. Bring these around, check them out. They're nice and, see all that nice color? Yum. All right, let's let that cool. Put this into containers. I'm gonna be packaging into these pints. They're really good for like one person's full meal or like a side for 2 people. So this is a gluten-free, vegan, low FODMAP soup, good for your digestive health. And we're just done. I like to like put a little sizzle on there sometimes, or some herb yogurt. It's a good topper. But again, it doesn't really need anything. You can just eat it as is. I like to package in these deli containers because they stack really well in the freezer. I've got a chest freezer outside. And then when I want to make my soup, I just, with the lid on, run it under some water until it loosens up and gives away from the sides, and I plop it into the pot, and then I just heat it up, so you can heat it up from frozen. All right, so I'm just gonna let these cool down a bit before I put them away. I'm gonna give this a rinse. So I love cleaning the Vitamix. You just put water, some soap in there, and then you turn it on and clean it. soapy water for later. Okay. Tidy up a bit again. Got a little bit of soup on my blender. Just try and clean this off before I put it away. This does come off, so just gonna rinse it. Put this. Alright, so next I'm gonna move these veggies off of these pans, and then we're gonna form burger patties. And then the burger patties will go into the freezer. And then whenever I'm ready to have the burgers, I just take out whatever I'm ready and whatever I'm wanting to use, and then I bake it at 350, about like 15 minutes. You also could throw it on a grill. That works too. I've just been throwing them in the oven because I did just get a grill. I'm actually going to test it out tonight on some lamb chops. Exciting. Okay, so we cleaned up a bit. Set that aside. Let's toss those herbs. Okay. What do we want to do? I think we're going to use a bowl. So those are cooled off. Got my sweet potatoes in. My broccoli. So an easy way to do this, you could just pick up your parchment, whoop, dump it right in. Okay, I did just take that out of the oven, so it's probably going to be a little warm. And I want the potatoes, I want them separate. Yeah. Alright. Just going to come across here, I'm going to use a spatula. Scoop these carrots. The broccoli, cauliflower, and sweet potatoes, these are all going to be packaged together. Eat that over some rice. I got a whole chicken over in the Instant Pot. It's releasing steam, so hopefully that's nice and ready for us to take that chicken out and pull it apart. Also utilized that chicken and made some bone broth at the same time. Alright, potato time. Got a little Pyrex here. I'm just gonna put those in. Last, these sweet potatoes. I'm just gonna set these on top. I'm gonna be making some salmon sweet potato patties later. And now I think I need one tray for these potatoes. Okay, just gonna pop these in the oven. Like start them off at 11 minutes. It's at 425. Let's Potatoes are gonna go with the lamb chops for dinner tonight. Gonna marinate those. Nice herb marinade. Okay, veggies set aside. We are done with this. Making a mess in here. All right. Still a little hot. Piece of parchment. Okay. And we're probably going to need a small one. You can see what I'm doing. Done with this. Normally, if I wasn't filming, I probably would do a reset of the whole kitchen, but that would be long and boring to watch, so just have a longer cleanup session at the end. Pretty good. Just gonna wipe down. All right. I got my sheep trays ready. I got my turkey burger mixture, and I got my sink. Okay. So I washed my hand. Well, I wet my hands. They're already washed. And now I have a nice big spoonful here. This is 2 pounds of turkey. So theoretically, I should definitely be getting at least 8 quarter-pounder burgers, but I added in zucchini and some herbs, so I might get a little bit more. Just patting them pretty flat. They do shrink up when you cook them, so I like to make them about as big as my palm. And that will give you a burger the size of your standard burger patty. Okay, you could also weigh them if you got a scale. You can measure out quarter-pound balls and then pat them flat that way. My hands, I needed to get them wetter. Try that again. You usually have to wet them quite a few times. This just helps me make sure they don't stick to my hands. Try and get do 2 patties and then re-wet my hands. So they just go in a single layer on a sheet tray. I line it with parchment. You could line it with wax paper too. It just helps it prevent it from sticking to your pan. And then I'm gonna freeze it solid. I just freeze it overnight and then I put them in a bag, like a Ziploc bag, or if you have a vac sealer, I put them in single layers in there. You can also do multi-layer if you layer parchment in between so that your patties don't stick together. This is my little hack so I don't have to buy those pre-made patties. I find them to be kind of dry and flavorless. But I like the convenience of a burger just being ready to cook and go. I don't want to have to do this every time I want a burger. wet again. Just gonna finish this one, press it out on the tray. All right, I'm already at 6 burgers. I have quite a bit of mixture left. So I'll definitely be getting more than 8, which is great because I'm gonna give about 4 of these away. And then I'm gonna keep some for myself and Chance. And then I might even make some small patties. I don't always like to eat a burger bun, but I do like the patty. And so I like to make them small slider size and then I eat them in a lettuce cup. So we might do some of those today too. These also do good as little breakfast sausages. So I kind of do some cheating here and utilize what I'm making, and then I turn it into like a few different things. My hand's wet again. We're at 10 burgers right now. It's pretty good. Again, the shredded zucchini in here is what keeps these turkey burgers nice and moist and not dry. Don't like dry food. Overcooked. None of that. So, zucchini helps foolproof you a little bit. It's a little too big for me. Make a little patty here. I had a little extra space on my sheet tray, so I'm gonna make a mini one. And I'm gonna fill in the gaps over here too. So little turkey burger sliders. It's honestly one of my favorite summertime meals. This mixture also makes really good meatballs. Turkey zucchini meatballs. I usually add like a little bit of panko or breadcrumbs, and then I'll sear them on all sides. Stick them in some tomato sauce. Put them in the oven. It's so good. All you gotta do is start off with like a really good base recipe, and then I take it in all kinds of directions. You can switch up your herbs and spices. You can even switch up the meat. This does good with chicken. I haven't tried beef, but you can try. This might fit. Let's see. Yeah, just had to shift the burger. Pat it a little bit. There you go. Come here, Patty. Make sure you have a little fun while you're cooking. Okay. Rinse my hands again. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna get another piece of parchment. Get these parchment sheets. They're so convenient. All right, now I'm just gonna make a little breakfast patty or little sliders, eat them whenever you want. So I just come around and I'm just gonna line them up. This 2 pounds of meat really did come quite a long ways. Time to rinse my hands again. Got 3, 2, 1. Oh, the oven. Okay. Singing to me. How funny of a timer. Okay, I gotta wash my hands. Oh, we almost made it before the timer. And my hot pads are over here. Okay. They're far from done. Alright, put a 10-minute timer on the potatoes. See how much we can get done in that amount of time. I'm gonna take the last of these patties. Okay, so let's see, I got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sliders and 10 burgers. That's a lot of food for not a lot of money. I spent about $10 for the 2 pounds of organic turkey, and I created a lot of meals out of that. So now I'm going to take these to the freezer. Sorry, I am going to walk away from the camera for a minute because the freezer is in the garage. Be right back. Stay tuned. Okay, hopefully that wasn't too boring. Let's see, what should we do next? I'm gonna cook some rice, get that going. Eat this patty. I want to eat these all. Alright. So I'm gonna cook the rice that's gonna go with these roasted veggies. Get that in a pot. This cute little vintage pot here. Grab the rice. Just gonna wipe this area. yes, I do keep my rice in a cereal container, but it is what it is. So I'm going to open up this new bag of rice. So there are different brands. I like to try and cook the same brands at the same time, because you never know. Some of your rice might cook and then others might not cook if you're using two different types of rice. So we're gonna wash this. I'm gonna make about we can do 2 cups of rice. Okay. Stick that in there. Bonita. Yep. Alright, coming over to the sink. Okay, so you're going to wash your rice until the water runs pretty clear. My third wash. Okay, so that ran clear. A measuring cup, I did 2 cups of rice, maybe 3 cups of water. Got my 2 cups. And I got about 3/4 of a cup since there is some water left over in the pot from rinsing. So I just cook the rice on low with the lid on. Comes up nice and slow, and then it's going to steam out all the liquid. Alright. I got 2 minutes left on that potatoes. Going to set myself up a little workstation here. Got my whole chicken in here. Got this bowl, same bowl that I used for tossing all the veggies. And then I'm just carefully transferred that chicken, and it's really hot, so I'm just going to cool it down to basically where I can touch it, and then we'll shred it up. So I'll set it back over here. I'm going to strain this broth. just going to strain this into a bowl. Actually, we're going to strain it into the pot so we don't have to dirty up another bowl. Yeah, thinking ahead, kind of. Love chicken broth. I could just drink this by the cupful, and I might. All right, just gonna set this back over here. And then I'm just gonna scoop this into my quarts. I like to turn this into like my ramen broth, maybe make a chicken noodle soup. Maybe just drink it. There goes my oven singing to me again. Oh yeah, these potatoes look incredible. Okay, nice and pillowy, got lots of color on them. Just gonna pull it off over here. And I think that we're done in the oven, so I'm gonna turn it off. Okay. All right, finish putting this away. I think the last couple things we have are making those salmon patties and pulling the chicken. Okay, got about 2 quarts of broth there. And then a little chef's treat. Ooh, it's nice and spicy. I put some ginger in there, lemongrass, a little cayenne, cumin, and coriander, salt on the chicken. And then I just pressure cooked it on the poultry setting in the Instant Pot, so 25 minutes. And I yielded this delicious broth. I covered the chicken with water, forgot to say that, and then I did all of that. Yeah, and that left me like a nice blonde bird that should be fully cooked. And now I'm just gonna shred it once I can touch it. And then I got this broth. So good. Okay, so I'm just gonna set these up here as well to cool. I can't put it in the freezer at this like boiling temperature, so we have to cool it down. Okay. Cleaning up again. Use this board. This is my dish drying towel. Okay, set this here. Then I get a little paper towel so this board doesn't slip all around on me. Okay, so I just got that nice and wet. Lift this up, put that down. Ooh, still moves. This is a new board, but sometimes they have a little bevel. So annoying. Okay, pretty close. Hang my towel back up. Now we're gonna get the salmon. Let's see. Some lemon. I have all these nettles. I'm thinking I'm going to cook some up and put them in my salmon patties. Parsley. I got my nettles. This is optional. Lemon, green garlic, scallions. I got some cilantro, mostly coming in here for these stems. And then I also have some pea shoots. I got a lot of these at the market this week, so I'm going to take these two, chop them up. I'm going to consolidate my herbs right now. I like to keep them in with a wet paper towel, prolongs their life. So here's the pea shoots in with my cilantro. Okay. And then we're done with this. Alright. We're going to, I gotta wash the bowl. Not very interesting to wash dishes, but fortunately I don't have a million bowls, so I needed to wash one. Okay, first things first, let us drop that. Let us cook some nettles. just gonna cook these nettles in this soup pot that I was already using. Again, it's totally fine to do that kind of a thing as long as you're not like cross-contaminating raw meat with things. This was just carrot vegetable soup, little chicken broth. It's fine. Okay, these do sting, so we're gonna use tongs to get them out of the bag. I have already pre-washed these in the sink, and then I packaged them back in the bag. I got the pot, I got my avocado oil. I got my scissors, okay? Here I am, I'm gonna take the nettles over the pot, okay? And this is what I do. This is nothing fancy. I just cut them. We're gonna come through and do a rough chop of them. All right. I do love nettles. They are good for your allergies. Yep, respiratory. Really good for you. They're wild. They're everywhere right now. Here I am just dropping lemons, yeah? Bella was like, what's that, for me? No, this lemon is not for you. Okay. Jokes aside, sauteing this up. If you do sting your hands with nettles, it's fine. Actually learned this week that apparently it's really good if you have arthritis, like that used to be a way where they treated you, is you sting to get that blood flowing in your hands or like wherever you have your arthritis, and I don't know. Just saying. Give it a try if you want. Look into it. I'm gonna not be stinging my hands. Alright. So let that go. It's almost done. Just gonna, yep. Here. Got my twisty. I like to keep a little bit of air in my nettle bag because you can get stung through the bag. I've done it many times now, and I don't love it. Let's see, I lost my knife, but I found it. Okay, so I just cut in half the lemon I already zested earlier today. And I'm going to squeeze this lemon in with the nettles. Okay, I just turned my nettles off. They don't take very long. Okay, there we are. Put the nettles back in the fridge. Move this bowl so you can see. And we're gonna grab my little food processor. This is a little KitchenAid. Just kidding. Yeah, it is. This is a KitchenAid brand mini food processor. It works pretty good. This is not a very expensive one. Pretty low. Pretty low price. It's okay. Okay. So, try and set this so it's not in the way. We're here. I got my fish. I'm just gonna set this behind me for now. And first, we're gonna cut these herbs. And that's mostly just because the board is clean right now. So I got these pea shoots. These are optional. You just use like parsley and tarragon and dill and whatever herbs you like and have. This is what I have. And so this is just me using what I have. Also, it was very hard to find any dill today at the store. Like, I had to buy one of those herbs that comes in those clear plastic things, and they don't give you very much, and they cost more than the bunches of herbs. I really don't like that. But soon dill will be here in season, and planning on just like putting a big dill plant out in my yard, so I always have dill on hand. Just made a big batch of tuna salad today, and that's where I used all my dill. Also would have been good to keep a little bit for these salmon patties, but it's okay. Scraper behind me, so I'm just gonna scrape all of this into the bowl. I got my fennel fronds, looks like dill, but it's just the tops of the fennel. Really don't like wasting things, so I just save it and figure out a way to use it later. Okay. Rice is finally starting. When I say starting, I mean it just got up to like a warm point where the rice is starting to cook. Okay, so I got my scallions. I already used all of the tops in the turkey burgers, and so now I'm just gonna thin slice some of the bottoms. The bottom of the green onion is not low FODMAP, but since I only got one bunch of scallions, and I can tolerate these green onions pretty well, it's gonna use the bottom. Okay. There's about 2 tablespoons in there of the scallions. These nettles are cooling down. Okay. We'll just let those keep cooling a little bit more. Grab the sweet potatoes. Get a spoon. Just gonna steal the spoon I use for the coconut oil that I actually used to rub onto the sweet potatoes. So I roasted the sweet potatoes, 375, just in half, and then it just comes right out. You just scoop the flesh right out of the sweet potato. Okay, I'm just gonna do that to all of them. It's gonna be to about like 2 cups of this sweet potato flesh. I would not recommend boiling the sweet potatoes to get them soft for this recipe because it does add liquid, and the liquid, like it waterlogs the potato, and so we don't want to do that for this. We don't want this to be too moist, or these patties won't stick together. Again, I'm going to provide recipes for everything I'm making today, so you don't have to worry about missing anything. Alright, so I'm just going to set that aside. I'm not going to mess up my hands quite yet to mix that. And yeah, we'll do some parsley. I got it out. I have it here. We'll do a little bit. See my kitty behind me being a naughty boy. You gotta get down from there, honey. Oh yeah. Such a naughty boy. Alright. So I do need to wash this parsley. just gonna cut this up. Oh yeah. The cat who thinks he rules this house. He kind of does. Okay. Some parsley. About 2 tablespoons. And next, let's see, garlic. Yeah. So this is green garlic. Just gonna cut this in half. And then, like you would an onion, I'm just gonna come across, make a thin slice, and we're gonna do a very small dice here. You also could put this on a microplane, that's fine. Just don't want to have to get another one of those out. I'm just going to use my knife skills here and cut them. You can hear this rice coming off. Still's got more time. So I always like to set something and forget about it. So that's why I got my rice working. I have my chicken cooling down so that when I'm done with this project, we can just move straight into that. I like to be as time efficient as possible, not in here all day. But if I was, that'd be fine with me. It's pretty much my favorite place to be, is in the kitchen. Just zoning, talking to you. Nothing better. All right, so this is some wild sockeye salmon. Okay. Just gonna take this out. So this is supposed to be boneless. Just gonna double check. Seems to be that way. Okay. Okay, so I have a paper towel here. I'm just gonna block this fish. It was previously frozen, so I'm just trying to get rid of some of this excess moisture. Okay, I'm gonna do it to the back. And I'm gonna take the skin off. Okay. So I'm just using my regular chef knife here. I do usually prefer my fish knife. Okay, so I got that started, lined up. Not doing an amazing job. I am just gonna grab my bigger knife. It's a little bit easier to work with. Mr. Meow thinks it's dinner time. No, no, no. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. and start this one more time. Oh, that's so much easier. Okay, so I'm just coming along. I can see I accidentally slid off. So I've got that started. To come around on this side and try and start it again. It's been a minute since I've cleaned a fish. No excuses though, should have been easy. Blame it on camera shy. So, such a bummer. Let's see. Alright, sometimes it does just pull off. Hilarious. Okay. So, we did that. We just finished pulling off this salmon skin. It's fine, I have this little bit. You don't have to worry too much about it being perfect because we're gonna put this in the food processor. So there you go. I'm gonna cook this up later and feed it to my cat and dog. They are gonna love me for that. I'm just gonna set that aside in my pot. All right, so here we go. I'm just gonna come across and dice this. It's gonna go in the food processor, raw. So I could feel with my knife there were a couple bones. So I just picked those aside. All right. So this is like a small dice that we have here. And we're just gonna barely pulse it in the food processor in a couple batches. And then we're gonna mix it with the sweet potato. Say that's like close to 3 cups of fish. Got my blade in there. Fish. Don't want to fill it too far. Here I have it on my chop setting. I'm just going to pulse. Okay, so I'll bring this closer and show you. It's like, see, it's still got chunks in it, but it's a little like cat food like, you know? Okay, so I'm just gonna put this in the bowl with the sweet potato and the herbs. There to be like some resemblance of fish in there. You don't want to puree it all. So we're going to dump it in. Try and get as much of everything out as possible. Alright, and now my hands are dirty. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this around, mash up the sweet potato a bit. All right, so we are mixing the sweet potato with the salmon and the herbs. We do still need to mix in these nettles that I cooked, completely optional. And then I'm gonna throw in an egg for binder. But honestly, it feels like it doesn't even need it, but I've made this recipe a lot of times, and sometimes it is a serious bitch and falls apart. Yeah, all right. So rinse my hands off. Grab my egg. All right, I got my egg, I got some mustard here, I got my nettles. I'm just gonna squeeze the nettles, get some of that excess liquid out. Come over to my board, pat my hand dry. Okay. And then we're just gonna chop this up and then add it into the salmon. Nettles are in season right now and they are everywhere in Oregon. You can go forage them yourself. You can pick them up at the farmer's market. They are fantastic. You can eat them anywhere you would eat spinach, you can eat nettles. But they do have some like earthiness. They do sting you when they're raw. But as soon as you cook them, then the sting goes away. You could just throw these nettles in the food processor. But I usually have to come back through. There's some stems in here that are kind of hardy, so I think my knife's a good place to be. Okay, so now I'm just gonna scrape it into the bowl. I'm gonna add my egg. Wash my hands. Okay, now it's time to add some salt and some spices. So I'm gonna do about a half tablespoon of salt. And then I got coriander here. I'm gonna do about like a teaspoon of coriander. Could be more, I don't usually measure, but start with a teaspoon. We're gonna do a little taster patty, see where it's at, and then we'll adjust. Okay, so now we're gonna get our hands dirty again. Just kidding. We're gonna add mustard and then we're gonna get our hands dirty again. So this is a stone ground cranberry mustard Jade gave me. And I'm gonna add about like a tablespoon. You can use regular like Dijon mustard or stone ground. This is what I have right now, so I think it's gonna be delicious. Do a little mix, 2 hands. This is a gluten-free, dairy-free paleo. I don't know, almost keto. There is sweet potato in it, but sweet potato is delicious and very nutritious. All right. So this is kind of like a wet mixture. Yum. My hands are rinsed. Out of the way. The rice is done, so I'm just going to turn that off, let it finish steaming out. Move it over here. Okay, and now we're going to do a tester patty of these sweet potato salmon cakes. Made these many times for clients. They're always such a huge hit. So it's hopefully this little variation is delicious as well. Normally I don't add any nettles, nor do I usually add any of the pea shoots, but they're in season. I think they're going to be delicious, and I'm really excited for this dinner. Alright, so my pan's heating up. I got my avocado oil. You also can cook in coconut oil. Coconut oil gives off this nice coconut flavor a little bit. Really good with the salmon and sweet potato, especially since I already rubbed coconut oil all over the sweet potato. You could cook these in either oil. Alright. Pan's getting hot. Gonna get my hands wet to form this patty. So I like to get my hands wet so the mixture doesn't stick. Okay, a little spoonful, probably like a couple tablespoons. Just gonna pat this. Okay, little slider size, and then we're just going to cook right in the pan. Nice medium heat. My hands wash again. Alright, I'm going to rinse this out too so it doesn't stick. Back in the fridge. Always try and like tidy up as you go so it's not as big of a deal at the end. Done with this garlic. Also done with the lemongrass. So get a spatula. Here I'm using a little fish spatula. I'm letting my patty cook about halfway up the sides before I flip it. Okay, we're still on a medium heat. Take a sip of this bone broth. So good. Alright, while that's cooking, I'm just going to write some labels. Just made some carrot ginger soup. thinks it's dinner time. He's not wrong. All right, so this looks like it's ready. Bring it over to this other board that doesn't have raw fish on it. Okay, so we can see this held together. These are so good. You can taste the peas, the fennel, the nettles. You can taste all of that in there. The sweet potato. I think that was a really nice balance. I would definitely make this version again. Okay, so I'm not gonna sear all these off right now. I'm going to patty them up and then I'm gonna freeze them. And so when I'm ready for it to eat them later on in the week, maybe a couple weeks from now, I'm just gonna pull them out and I can either sear them in my cast iron skillet or we can just bake them in the oven if you just wanna forget about it. I'd say like 350, 8 to 12 minutes. So good. Okay. So I'm waiting on my sheet trays to open up. So I'm just gonna saran wrap this batter and I'm gonna put it in the fridge. Alright, we are almost done with meal prepping. My last project of the day is going to be to shred this chicken. Just gonna tidy up a little bit. So I still have this on the bone. Okay, get off all that juice. Okay, and I'm just going to come through the bird and I'm just going to pick off the meat. I'm going to set the skins aside. We're going to throw those back in the oven or crisp them up in a skillet and then eat them. So good. So just picking off the meat. Again, I just pressure cooked this. I covered it just barely with water. Put some bay leaves in there, some salt, cumin, coriander, a little knob of ginger and lemongrass. And then I pressure cooked it on high for 20 minutes, 20-25 minutes. And then I just did a natural steam release. So I utilized the bone broth there by covering the chicken. And then I also got this nice shreddable chicken. So this is going to be pretty versatile. We can use this in tacos, we can make soup, all kinds of things. I'm just going to shred the whole bird and then I might make a couple different things. I bought some little street style tortillas, so I'm going to make some tacos with some of this and then we'll see what I do with the rest. It's always nice to have a protein on hand that you can just take in whatever direction you want. Like if you want Asian, you should be able to take it that way. We can have a little stir fry. You could put some barbecue sauce on it. And then you got this pulled chicken barbecue sandwich. Sounds delicious. Yeah, do all kinds of things with it. You could just eat it as is. You can make a chicken salad. I like to get the whole the whole bird because I feel like you get more bang for your dollar. You get the whole bird. The bones to make the stock, the meat to eat, the skin. Sometimes you get those gizzards. Those are my favorite. I love chicken livers. I just like saute them up in a little butter, salt. Eat them that way, or you could make a chicken liver mousse or pate with them. It's my other favorite thing to do. Gosh, we sometimes will eat so much pate. It's ridiculous, but I really like to make a liver pate, and then I eat it with strawberry jam on a cracker. Sounds really weird, but it is like the perfect combination. It's like a grown-up chicken liver PB&J, no peanut butter. Sub liver. Almost done. I'm not shredding this like super fine because I want there to be like meat resemblance, like little pieces, not just like cat food. You could put this in a mixer too once you have all the meat off the bone, and then just use your paddle attachment, let it go around a couple times, and then you easily shredded your meat. But I kind of like getting my hands dirty. Okay, got another leg over here. Okay, just gonna squeeze out some of that skin, set it aside for later. I'm gonna eat it. The animals might eat some too. I got some fish skin I gotta crisp up too. Got some spoiled pets this week. Forgot to turn that burner off. Okay. Alright, here we got it. Some shredded chicken. Just a little bit of that chicken broth was left in the bowl. It's going to help keep this meat nice and moist. Not a fan of overcooked, dry anything. So there's that. Got all these bones. Got another wing. Guess I can pick the meat off this wing. Yum. Okay. There we have it. Basically all done meal prepping, just got a package. Alright, I'm gonna get a bag. And I am gonna freeze these bones. I know that I used them once in the pressure cooker, but normally I will let my bone broth go for over 24 hours. So these I think still have quite a bit of flavor in there. And then I'm going to have more bones. Yeah, the rice is going. Here, I'll just throw that in with my salmon skin. Okay. Great, and then I'm just gonna throw this in the freezer. So next time I wanna make bone broth, it's ready to go. I already have my vegetable stock bag. It's basically full. So I might even start a broth tonight. All right, let's give this meat a test. It's just very neutral right now. I am gonna do a little bit, I'm gonna make some like Mexican chicken. So it's gonna be in a taco. I'm gonna grab some spices for that. All right, so we can do it in the cast iron. I got my cumin, my coriander, got some oregano here. And this pan is already hot, so I'm just gonna add it right to the pan. Cumin, oregano, coriander, mix this around. I got a line. Well, I got a line here. It's already cut in half. I'm just gonna squeeze this right in. Add a nice flavor. So if this was just for me, I probably would add quite a bit of spice flavor, but the person I'm cooking for doesn't like a lot of heat, so I'm gonna make it pretty mild. Still need salt. I think my number one tip is just always taste your food as you go and just adjust it to your preferences. That was exactly what that needed. Just some salt. And it brought out all the flavors. Salt brings out the lime, it brings out the spices. You cannot cook without salt. Alright. So, there you go. You have it. A whole day of meal prep. Now just to finish packaging. I got these potatoes here. I cooked purple fingerling potatoes, and I got these red potatoes. For dinner tonight, I'm making some lamb chops, and I'm gonna eat these potatoes with it. Oh, yum. So those are for me, for our household here. Just gonna start a dishes pile. Done with the oil. Just clean up so we can pack everything up. salmon burgers are seriously so good. Might change my mind and want to eat those for dinner. How many burgers can we eat in 1 week? An endless amount, because I really like burgers. Not beef burgers, but just about any other burger. Put this mixer or the food processor away. Okay, so in this bowl I got some roasted veggies. I got carrots, cauliflower, broccoli, sweet potato. And we're just gonna package up. All right. So for the client, I'm going to pack in these, and then for myself, I'm gonna pack in glass. Just gonna get some containers out and ready. Okay. All right, so I am gonna pack in some bags to save space, and also I won't be getting any of these back, so a bag is not something I'm worried about. Roasted veggies for the client, roasted veggies for us. For this shredded chicken, this is just a neutral one. I'm just gonna put it in the half deli, and then we're gonna freeze it. Same for this. That way I can turn it into whatever I want later. Okay. So we can see danger ruling the house over there. Alright. I got this shredded chicken over here. This one's for the client. Put that stuff over there, and the plain over here. The veggies, get some lids out. Okay. Roasted veggies, roasted potatoes. Else to pack. Just got this rice, but it needs to cool off before I can pack it up. I already packed my carrot ginger soup, my bone broth, my veggies, my turkey burgers are in the freezer freezing, and then we'll package them up tomorrow in a bag. And then I'm gonna make those salmon patties and freeze them. And that concludes my meal prep. Now I'm just gonna tackle this tornado of a mess I have created and call it a day. Thank you for watching. And now to figure out how to end.